drop, I would suggest that interest rates should plateau at 3.5%. But given that the Bank of England, let's say, misread inflation 2 years ago, they tend to have a bias to want to tighten. So on the back of these figures, as you've asked, the hawks might feel emboldened, and therefore the markets are still expecting the bank to raise rates further. But the message is that the economy is not as weak as some people thought, but it is still weak. We have pockets of strength, such as the labour market and the service sector, but there are significant areas of weakness, such as manufacturing.
Gerard, as you cast your mind forward to events later in the year, obviously September was affected by the late Queen's funeral. The King is being crowned in May this year. Could that actually generate a boost to GDP and economic activity? Because, I mean, it is going to be a far more cheerful event than the Queen's funeral, after all.
Well, absolutely. You've mentioned bank holidays. Also, earlier you mentioned the World Cup. These events tend to impact the economy in different ways. Certainly, if consumer-facing services benefited from the World Cup, as this data this morning suggests, then consumer-facing services, one would expect to benefit from the positivity around the coronation. Obviously, having bank holidays does distort it because there's large parts of the economy that do shut down during those bank holidays. But as we've seen from today's figures, September fell because of that bank holiday. October recovered, November still recovered, and we already have early indicators from the retail and the leisure sector that December is likely to be positive as well. So when we have a bank holiday, it does tend to impact. But as you said in terms of your question and thinking ahead to the coronation this summer, that should overall have some positive impact, particularly in those service sector areas.
What are your reflections on the post-Christmas trading statements that we've been getting this week, Joe? Because obviously the headline sales numbers are flattered to a degree by inflation. But as Ed Conway was pointing out, households in many cases still have a significant cushion of savings built up during the pandemic.
Yeah, across the household sector, it does vary considerably. Some people clearly in personal difficulty, even though energy bills are higher, has to be said, the government has provided significant help. Some people are seeing wages rise, but not rise as much as inflation. But at the same time, there are big pockets of savings that people are now dipping into. Also, in terms of the corporate sector, what one tends to see from the surveys is a very interesting picture. Firms are saying that they're very positive in many cases about their own situation, planning to invest, but they're still cautious about the economy overall. So when one looks at the bottom up from the service sector and indeed parts of the corporate sector, the bottom up story is a positive one. But when it comes to an economy, it's not only the economic fundamentals and policy, it's also confidence. And there's no doubt that confidence has been hit. Business and consumer confidence is very low. And we need to see more evidence and more types of figures as we've seen this morning for that confidence picture maybe to start to change.
All right, Gerard, we've got to leave it there. Congratulations on Fulham's win last night, by the way.
It was a great night at Craven Cottage. Thank you.
Thanks, Gerard. Good to see you. Well, one of the many headwinds facing the UK economy is the big increase in people of working age who, since the pandemic, have dropped out of the labour market. There's also been a big rise in the number of people claiming disability benefits, successful claims for which are up some 70% since the pandemic. Well, joining me now is the former Trade and Investment Minister, Lord Price. He's also founder of Workall, a platform that seeks to make people get happier at work. Lord Price, good to see you this morning. I mean, a lot of these increases in disability benefits are put down to mental health issues. Is that borne out by what you're seeing on your platform?
Well, it is, yes, Ian. If I look at the figures over the last year, I think there's two things I would pull out that indicate that. First, we have predictive analysis on flight risk, the number of people who are going to leave their employer in the next 9 months. If we go back a year ago to what was called the Great Resignation, about 26% of all the people we were interviewing and doing surveys with, which is probably about 25,000 a month, about 26% were looking like a flight risk. January this year, it's up to 32%. So we're seeing a huge increase in the number of people who are set to leave their companies. Retail and hospitality have always been high, but the big jumps are coming in the civil service. We're seeing movements there from 25% to 45% of people thinking about leaving their jobs at the moment. Manufacturing's high, healthcare won't surprise you. is high. So one, we're seeing that, the likelihood of more churn in the marketplace over the next 6 to 9 months. The other thing we measure is wellness, people's wellness at work. If you go back a year ago, the scores for well-being were sort of mid 20%, so about 20% of the workforce were registering as a well-being risk. It's now 32%. So I think those two things are linked. People are definitely feeling more like they're going to leave their jobs, and also people are recording that their well-being at work, mental, physical, is less good than it was 12 months ago.
How do employers stop people going then? How do employers head this off at the pass, if you like?
Well, there are four things that drive people leaving their jobs. We do work with companies on engagement surveys, we do exit surveys, we do new starter surveys, etc. And so what we've been able to do over the last 5 years is to look at those areas which are most likely to drive employees to leave. And there are four of them. Pay is one of them. It's never been the main one, but at the moment, as you might expect, pay is becoming more and more of a factor. So if you go back 12 months ago, people were scoring unfairly paid at around high 60s, 70%. That's now dropped to 62%. So there's certainly an issue around pay. And you could say the market is working. People aren't happy with their pay. They're looking to move elsewhere and to get higher pay rates. So you need to be conscious of pay. The other big one, particularly with younger workers under the age of 29, is feeling that they're being developed. So that feeling that their career is being moved forward is very important. And increasingly, people are recording that that's not where they would like it to be. Just enjoying your job is another factor, as you'd expect. So there are a number of things which are lead indicators. But probably the most important of all is the relationship you have with your line manager. If that's good, you're more likely to stay, even if conditions are difficult as they are at the moment. But I'm sad to say they've been going backwards as well. So those are the four things that really drive whether people stick with their jobs or they look to move.
All right, Mark, there's loads more I wanted to ask you, but I'm afraid we're out of time. It's good to see you this morning. Mark Price, Lord Price, thank you.
Thank you, Ian.
Now, earlier this week, China opened its borders and its people have been free to travel abroad for the first time since the pandemic began 3 years ago. Well, the return of the world's biggest spenders on tourism is good news for hotels, restaurants, theatres and retailers, among them Harrods. The famous emporium is laying on a series of special events to welcome Chinese visitors ahead of the Chinese New Year, the year of the rabbit. Well, with me now is Michael Ward, who's Managing Director at Harrods. Michael, very good to see you this morning. I mean, pre-pandemic, how important were Chinese visitors to Harrods?
China was our biggest tour group, so it was over 21% of our customer base was China, and we represented the biggest destination in the UK for Chinese visitors. So hugely important for us, and it was growing substantially every year.
Now, one thing that's been commented on quite widely this week is that seat capacity on flights from China is only around 8% at the moment of pre-pandemic levels. I mean, we need to get more flight capacity on, presumably fairly quickly.
The flight capacity is gradually increasing because all of the major hubs that the Chinese use are increasing dramatically. So if you look at the link into Qatar, by October, they'll have 58 flights a day going into China, which will then be taken straight into the UK.
So tell me about some of the initiatives you've got underway to welcome these people back.
Well, the great thing is we never stopped our relationship with the Chinese customer. We opened a residence to make sure we had a permanent and a way of communicating with those customers. So for us, it's a continuation. In the Spring Festival, we launched a collaboration with Labelhood for all of the young Chinese designers. And this is something that we've been doing now for many years. So we've never been fair weather friends. We've always been a permanent person that's there for our Chinese customers.
What sort of things do they look for? Do they differ appreciably from other international tourists?
No, I mean, they are looking for the very best of the very best, which is why they come to us, because they can find all of the exclusive products, all of the unique products, and that's really what they're searching for.
Now, I know this is a bit of a hot potato for you, the fact that Rishi Sunak, as Chancellor, did away with tax-free shopping for international tourists. Kwasi Kwarteng brought it back. Jeremy Hunt's got rid of it again. How much more of a boost would the UK enjoy were that to remain in place?
It would be significant. significant. And I think the point for us, it's not just simply retail that benefits. The bit that the government missed was the VAT that they collect on restaurants, on tourism. We need this time to have London as the capital of the world. And having this, it's like having one hand tied behind your back, not having tax-free shopping.
What number of tourists do you think we lose as a result of this policy to other cities like Paris and Milan, for example?
I think Paris is the primary gainer. And if you look at all of the statistics of Global Blue, whereas we're trailing in our customers in terms of, let's take the Middle Eastern customer, I think they were plus 60% on where they were pre-pandemics. So the numbers are very, very substantial.
And more broadly, Michael, it's been a while since we spoke to you on the programme. What have you been seeing in international visitors numbers generally since the UK lifted COVID restrictions?
We've seen the gradual return. So we've seen a very strong growth in America, and we've seen a return of our Middle Eastern customers. The one we haven't seen so much of is anyone from the Far East. So we're still behind overall in numbers, but we very much pivoted towards the domestic customer early in COVID. And that's really paid us back in terms of our hospitality, which we invested substantially in.
So do you think you've actually grown domestic customer numbers then over the last 18 months or so?
We've grown our domestic numbers substantially, and we now have more Michelin-starred chefs than anywhere else in the world cooking in our store. And that bounce back that we've seen GDP through his hospitality is something that we've also benefited from. But this focus on local customer is something that we won't lose track of and will really very much maintain.
And I know you're not obliged to publish numbers, Michael, but give me a flavour of how you've been trading over Christmas.
Christmas has been our record Christmas ever. So we're ahead of 2019 numbers, and we're continuing to trade in January ahead of 2019. So really very strong customer base at Christmas. Again, all and largely based on our domestic customer.
All right, Michael, we have to leave it there. It's good to catch up with you this morning. Do appreciate it. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
We're going to break into the business news now and go live to Huntingdon Crown Court, where Dennis McGrory is being sentenced for sexually assaulting, stabbing and strangling 15-year-old Jackie Montgomery in her home in North London in 1975. This is the oldest double jeopardy case in the UK. We're going to listen in.
Body close to her discarded tights and knickers. Her blood-stained diary, with part of a page ripped out of it bearing the address at which Josie had recently been staying, also lay nearby. Her skirt was pulled up, as was her jumper. She was on her period and a used sanitary towel lay close to her body. She had clearly been murdered, and the circumstances strongly suggested that her murder had been preceded by her rape. But in 1975, the post-mortem did not yield the evidence to justify such a charge. You were the prime suspect for Jackie's murder from the start. Her aunt, Josie, had recently left you due to your violence towards her, and you had even more recently learned that she'd started a sexual relationship with another man, and even worse than that, he was a close friend of yours. You were enraged and desperate to find Josie to inflict violence upon her. You were also willing to inflict violence upon anyone to extract information as to Josie's whereabouts. Jackie was just such a person, and what is more, you had an unreciprocated sexual interest in her. In interview, you denied that you had any sexual interest in Jackie, consensual or otherwise. You denied attending 119 Offord Road the previous day, and you denied murdering Jackie. In the light of the circumstantial evidence against you, you were charged with Jackie's murder on the 15th of July 1975. On the 26th of January 1976, when you were 28, you stood trial at the Central Criminal Court before Mr. Justice Melford Stevenson and a jury for the murder of Jackie. At the close of the prosecution case, which was largely based on circumstantial evidence, the judge withdrew the case from the jury and directed the jury to find you not guilty. You were therefore acquitted of the murder. In the decades that followed, you must have thought that you had got away with your heinous crimes and that you would never face justice you deserved for what you had done. So how is it that your offending has caught up with you? First, the passage of the Criminal Justice Act 2003, which allows an acquittal to be quashed and a defendant retried in the event of new and compelling evidence. And secondly, advances in medical science and a technique of DNA analysis which did not exist in 1976. A cold case review identified that upper and lower vaginal swabs had been taken at the post-mortem of Jackie, and those swabs had been retained for over 45 years. Samples were taken from those swabs and DNA analysis was performed. In relation to the upper vaginal sample, a mixed DNA profile was obtained that indicated the presence of DNA from at least 2 persons, and the results would be fully accounted for by a mixture of DNA from Jackie and yourself. In relation to the lower vaginal swab, a mixed DNA profile was obtained that indicated the presence of DNA from at least 2 persons, possibly more. Profile also indicated that the majority of the DNA present had originated from 1 male and 1 female. Jackie's DNA profile was represented such that she could be the prominent female contributor. Your DNA was also represented such that you could be the prominent male contributor. A likelihood ratio assessment was done in relation to the various samples. By way of example, in relation to the lower vaginal swab sample, the forensic scientist Mr. Beaumont progressed the interpretation based on the premise that DNA was present in the sample from Jackie and 2 other persons, and had considered the following alternative propositions. 1. DNA from Jackie, you, and 1 other individual was present. And 2. DNA from Jackie and 2 individuals was present, but none of the DNA had originated from you. Based on the calculation performed, the findings will be at least 1 billion, that is 1,000 million, times more likely if the first proposition was true, rather than if the second proposition was true. And so it was that your acquittal was quashed, and you have stood trial for the rape and murder of Jackie before this jury on the entirety of the evidence, which included, but was not limited to, the DNA evidence. You chose not to give evidence in your own defence, which was your right, but as a result you did not give evidence in the trial to contradict or undermine the evidence of the prosecution witnesses. I am sure that your reason for doing so was that you didn't have an answer that would have stood up to questioning, not least given your inconsistent contemporary accounts and incredible suggestions as to how you came by your own injuries. Nor were you able, through counsel, to explain away how DNA, consistent with your DNA profile, came to be found inside Jackie. The reality, as the jury has found by their verdicts, is that you raped Jackie, depositing your DNA in the process before murdering her. But why rape and then brutally murder a 15-year-old child in her own home? I'm certain that you did so for 2 reasons. Firstly, I'm sure that you had an unreciprocated sexual interest in Jackie. The year before her death, you had tried it on with her while she was sunbathing on the roof at Steen House, trying to grab and kiss her. You sought to downplay that in your interview, saying, quotes, "We were just mucking around." There was also an occasion when Jackie was babysitting for your then partner, Josie. You came in drunk and you tried to kiss Jackie and put your hands up her skirt. Most chillingly of all was the oral evidence of Kathleen Montgomery Sr., which I accept, that you said to her and Jackie that, quotes, you would like to rape her and her sister Jackie. Whilst taken in jest, she concluded that you would do so if you could, as I and the jury are sure you went on to do to Jackie. Equally, the evidence before the jury, which I accept, is that you had been violent towards Josie Montgomery and used to hit her, which is why she left you. This was testified to by Josie herself and also witnessed by Mary White, whose read evidence was that she saw you punch Josie on a number of occasions, which was also consistent with the read evidence from Linda Devlin and David Ballantyne, who reported that Josie had told them that you had beaten her in the past. Even more disturbingly, it was the read evidence of James Reed and David Ballantyne that on a Sunday morning and after Jackie had been murdered, you referred to Josie's relationship with your friend, and you said that you were going to find Josie and, quotes, give her stripes, as Reed says, or, quotes, cut her face off, as Ballantyne says. I'm satisfied, so I'm sure, that you were indeed violent to Josie Montgomery in your relationship, and that on the night Jackie died, you were looking for her, having found out that she was having an affair with your friend. You were enraged, and you were looking to attack her and inflict violence upon her, and were willing to inflict violence on Jackie in order to obtain details of her whereabouts, which is precisely what you did. You attended 119 Offord Road that night. It is clear that there was a violent struggle between you and Jackie. As I've already noted, furniture was turned over, the phone was off the hook, and there was a pulled lock of hair. There was a violent struggle, you raped Jackie, and your violence culminated in you murdering her, literally stabbing her to death. You raped Jackie, a 15-year-old child, because you had an unreciprocated sexual interest in her, carrying into effect your previous threat to rape her. You meted out violence upon her during the course of her ordeal, and this culminated in you repeatedly stabbing her with a knife, including through her heart and also through her diaphragm, penetrating through her liver and stomach. I have no doubt whatsoever that you intended to kill her in your brutal attack upon her. Sadly, and as the expert evidence testified, Jackie could have survived and been capable of movement for between 1 and 10 minutes after suffering such fatal wounds, knowing that she was going to die. You put Jackie through an horrific, violent and sustained ordeal in her own home, a place where she was entitled to feel safe. She must have been terrified as you inflicted violence upon her, and as the realisation dawned upon her as to what you intended to do to her. And having gone through the ordeal of being raped by you, she would have realised, as you inflicted further and increasing violence upon her, including with a knife, that you intended to kill her. How any man could inflict such sexual and physical violence upon a 15-year-old child who had done them no harm beggars belief. Quite apart from the fatal stab wounds that brought about Jackie's death, you also inflicted considerable violence upon Jackie during the course of your sustained attack upon her, as evidenced by the injuries found at the post-mortem that were before the jury, including injuries to her head and mouth and a strangulation mark on her neck. The attack upon her was both physical and sexual. There was a continuum of events, and I have no doubt that your sexual conduct and the violence leading to Jackie's death was inextricably interwoven with the sexual activity increasing the ordeal of Jackie and the depravity of her murder. This was, on any view, as the defence accepts, a murder involving sexual conduct, aggravated by the fact that it was murder involving sexual conduct with a child. And as such, the seriousness of your offending is particularly high within the meaning of Schedule 21 to the Sentencing Act 2020, with an appropriate starting point for a minimum term for a murder committed after the 18th of December 2003 of 30 years. I have to ask myself whether in fact your murder of Jackie as a child not only involved sexual conduct, as it undoubtedly did, but whether it involved a sexual motivation or a sadistic motivation. If it did, then the seriousness of your offending would be exceptionally high within the meaning of Schedule 21 of the Sentencing Act 2020, and with the appropriate starting point, at least for a murder committed after the 18th of December 2003, of a whole life order. Had your unreciprocated sexual interest in Jackie been the only reason for your fatal violence that night, I would have concluded that the murder of this child involved a sexual motivation as you carried out your sexual fantasy to its fatal conclusion. However, I'm satisfied that another motive was also in play in your actions, namely that on the night in question you were enraged and looking to attack Josie and inflict violence upon her, and were willing to inflict violence upon Jackie in order to obtain details of her whereabouts, which is precisely what you did, and which was also part of the continuum of events culminating in Jackie's murder. In such circumstances, I step back from concluding that the murder involved a sexual motivation as opposed to sexual conduct, which it undoubtedly did. I've thought long and hard as to whether your murder of Jackie as a child involved a sadistic motivation. She was found with the cord of an iron around her neck and with a grooved bruise on one side of her neck, consistent with an attempt at strangulation, though the groove did not go all the way around her neck. She also had a recent burn on her leg that could have been caused by someone placing a hot iron on her bare flesh. In circumstances where Jackie knew where Josie was, and you were willing to do whatever was necessary in an attempt to extract from Jackie information as to Josie's whereabouts, there arises for consideration the possibility of whether you tortured her to extract or to attempt to extract such information, and the question would arise in such circumstances as to whether in inflicting the associated pain and suffering that you would have caused and would have been aware of, you derived great and sadistic pleasure from that. However, in circumstances where I cannot be sure that the use of the cord was other than an attempt at strangulation, or that you did indeed burn Jackie's leg, or that you did the acts you did with a sadistic motivation, I put such possibilities out of my mind. What I am sure of is that whilst fuelled by alcohol and driven by rage, as well as lust for Jackie, you raped her and thereafter took away the life of a young girl who had her whole life ahead of her. You did so to satisfy your own perverted desires and at a time when you were willing to inflict violence upon Jackie for your own ends, including to extract information as to Josie's whereabouts. From that moment on, and far from confessing to what you had done in the cold light of day, you made up a cock and bull story about being jumped by 4 geezers, allegedly set upon you by Josie, in an attempt to explain away your injuries, including scratches consistent with Jackie attempting to fight you off. You persevered in your denials, even when presented with the damning DNA evidence against you, and for which you have no explanation, because there is no innocent or credible explanation for what was found on the high and low vaginal swabs. You proffered through counsel scenarios as to possible sources of contamination, transfer or presence, which were as fanciful as they were desperate, and which only had to be considered to be dismissed. You made witnesses, including Josie, go through the ordeal of reliving the events that they no doubt hoped were behind them, and through the ordeal of being cross-examined and accused of being liars in relation to your sexual interest in Jackie and your violence meted out to Josie. You have shown not one iota of remorse or compassion for Jackie or Jackie's family, or for what you have done. We've heard the moving victim impact statement from Kathy Montgomery, Jackie's sister, who was only 13 months older than Jackie when Jackie was murdered. We've heard that Jackie enjoyed all the things 15-year-old girls would enjoy, listening to pop music from the like of Donny Osmond and David Cassidy, and she wanted a decent home life and someone to love her. But you cut short that life and deprived her of her life and of all the things she'd hoped for in that life. It is clear that her death had a devastating effect on her family. Unsurprisingly, your trial and the ordeal through which you have placed those who have given evidence has caused pain and distress for the family as they have revisited painful memories of Jackie's death. I can only hope that your conviction and the sentence I pass will provide them with some closure, safe in the knowledge that you have been brought to justice and will hereafter live out your days in prison, whatever minimum term I set. You were not of previous good character before your rape and murder of Jackie, and you have offended further in subsequent years, albeit nothing as serious as that for which you stand to be sentenced. Your subsequent offences are for assault occasioning actual bodily harm in 1977 and possessing an offensive weapon and using violence to enter premises in 2009. The facts of that latter offending in 2009, nearly 35 years on, offers a glimpse of your true personality, which has some chilling similarities with events in 1975. Time would not appear to have mellowed your personality. The facts are that you and your ex-wife were arguing. You said that she had to choose between you or her son. You said of the son, "I'm going to, expletive, kill him. I don't care how long I spend in prison." You went to a pub, then returned home drunk in the evening. You forced your way into the house after being told you were not welcome. After further argument, you picked up a kitchen knife. The others ran outside. You said to your stepson, "I'm going to kill you," again accompanied with expletives. You chased your ex-wife and stepson into the street with a knife in your hand. There is only one sentence that the law allows to be passed for the offence of murder, and that is a mandatory sentence of imprisonment for life. I am, however, required to specify the minimum term which must elapse before you could be released on licence. It will be open to me to impose a determinate or an indeterminate sentence in relation to the rape conviction to run consecutive to the minimum term for the life sentence. The maximum sentence for rape prior to the 21st of December 1976 and now is life imprisonment. Any such sentence would have to be consistent with the case of the Crown and Forbes, 2016 EWCA Crim 1388, and applying current sentencing guidelines. However, it's common ground that the most desirable approach is to impose a minimum term in relation to the offence of murder that properly reflects the totality of your offending, and to impose no separate penalty in relation to your rape conviction, which is the course I will adopt. Where a convicted murderer is sentenced on or after the 18th of December 2003 for an offence that took place before that date, the court will set the minimum term. The correct approach for the court to take was made clear in the case of the Crown and Sullivan, Gibbs, Barry, Derek Elner, 2004 EWCA Crim 1762, and is set out in the Criminal Practice Direction at Roman 7 Sentencing N. The Criminal Practice Direction has not been updated to change references to the Criminal Justice Act 2003 onto the Sentencing Act 2020, but there is no material difference between the two as far as this is concerned. The position is also set out in paragraph 12 to the Schedule 21 of the Sentencing Act, which states, quotes, 12.1, this paragraph applies where the offence was committed before the 18th of December 2003. 2. If the court makes a minimum term order, the minimum term must, in the opinion of the court, be no greater than the period which, under the practice followed by the Secretary of State before December 2002, the Secretary of State would have been likely to notify to the offender as the minimum period which, in the view of the Secretary of State, would be served before the prisoner's release on licence. 3. The court may not make a whole life order unless it's of the opinion that, under the practice followed by the Secretary of State before December 2002, the Secretary of State would have been likely to notify the prisoner that the Secretary of State did not intend that the prisoner should ever be released on licence. The purpose of such an approach is to ensure compliance with Article 7.1 of the European Convention on Human Rights, that a heavier penalty shall not be imposed than the one that was applicable at the time the criminal offence was committed. Accordingly, the following assessment is to be undertaken. 1. Determine the appropriate starting point according to the Sentencing Act 2020.
Welcome back to the morning show. It is Friday, the 13th day of January, the year 2023. The time is 10:50. We took you to Sky, where they were Judge Dennis McGrory was sentenced. Dennis McGrory is being sentenced. The judge is sentencing Dennis McGrory for sexually assaulting, stabbing, and strangling a 15-year-old Jackie Montgomery in 1975. Wow, a double jeopardy case. Well, I hope that you followed it closely. But now we have to come back and start the program, the morning show. Starr Radio UK. We don't want you to miss out on anything at all, and that's why we went with that part. But let's take a quick commercial break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the show. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Yes, protocol observed. Let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi, Mr. Tabiri, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, working behind the scenes, making sure that the program goes on perfectly. And then to you wonderful people who have tuned in this morning to listen to us as well, I salute each and every one of you. Bishop Adeshina, Pastor Momo, name them, Anthony Adedeji, Aziz, and you wonderful people there. I salute each and every one of you. Moyiwa, salute you, Sarah. I hope you are doing very well. Tassino, good morning to you as well. I don't know whether it's afternoon now in Moscow, but I want to salute each and every one of you. It is Starr Radio UK. It is the Friday edition of the morning show, but stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to bring you the quote of the day. The weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update. They will all be coming out, not the normal way, but I'll bring you all that, and then bring you updates or global trotting, take you global trotting, and then after that we'll bring you the updates from Nigeria as well. My heartbeat. Then after that, exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines are open for you to have your voice to the discussions. We'll continue from then, and then exactly at and that's what makes you 12:30. The first part of the program is brought to a close, and we have our money man, Mr. Tabiri, on the show, bringing you the money hour. So this is going to be coming your way Wherever you are, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. So let's crack on. The quote for the day says, a paradigm like a catalyst will either facilitate or inhibit success. A paradigm like a catalyst will either facilitate or inhibit success. So check it out. Check it out. How is your mind shifting? Shifting paradigm to the left or to the right? Play in the background something from Edith Morrison. That's what makes you great. Great are you, Lord. I'm moving on straight to the weather front as well. Great is to be praised. Great are you, Lord. Now today will be a mixture of patchy cloud and bright spells throughout the day. It will remain generally dry, but an isolated shower cannot be ruled out in places. A windy day expected as well. Now this evening will start dry and clear. Now overnight cloud will build with areas of persistent rain spreading in from the west. During the early hours, rain will fall locally, heavy towards dawn. Top temperature is going to be 11 degrees and the lower is going to be 5 degrees. UV level is going to be low pollution, low sunset 16, 17 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 0801 hours. And I'm moving on straight to the travel updates this morning. Wow, straight on to the underground. Now, apart from the district line that has got severe delays between Earls Court and Wimbledon, while they fix a signal failure at Wimbledon Park, all the other underground lines are in good service. Also, London Overground has got past suspension between Liverpool Street and Chingford due to an issue with the overhead wires. Good service on all other London Overground routes. London Tramlink, good service there.
Holy, holy, God Almighty, I worship you.
Okay, moving on straight to the major roads in London. What's going on there as well? A12, A20, A4, A40, Central London Red routes have all got closures. Also, A406 has got serious delays, so if you can avoid it, do your best to avoid it. But keep your eyes on the roads as you keep navigated. I promise are born. The River Bus has got good service throughout, and also the London Cable Car good service there as well. Now to the final segment of the travel update, that is the National Rail. On the National Rail this morning, Avanti West Coast has got minor delays, cross country, minor delays, Great Western Railway, minor delays, Northern Rail, minor delays, ScotRail, minor delays, Thames Link and Transport for Wales have also got minor delays. That aside, all the others have got good service there. And that's why I come back to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Great are you, Lord. Great are you, Lord.
Okay, let's take a quick commercial break, and once we come back, we continue with the show. Stay tuned and don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. It is the Friday edition of the morning show, and I've got some wishes to bring to pass or through. So just stay tuned. Don't go away.
Make that move now this festive season to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat to reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat to reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Star Radio UK. 1 minute after 11 the time. I'm going to be rationing you, don't you worry. But I promise you one thing, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, if it's making the headlines, I promise to touch on that, okay? Yes. But today happens to be the birthday of Miss Donna Takia Boy. Daughter, I hope you are doing very, very well. And we wish you a happy birthday. May God grant you all your heart desires. And may your head never lack oil. And as many of you celebrating your birthdays today, or a special day today, I say a happy celebration to you. God bless you all. Alright then. Now let's go to some of the stories making the rounds this morning across the globe. And let me take the opportunity to say good morning to my big brother himself, Felix. I hope you are doing very, very well. And Mr. Ishmael Okain and Mr. Francis Abedi as well. I salute each and every one of you, and I say hope you all doing very, very well. It is Star Radio UK, now global trotting. Now surprise growth suggests UK may avoid recession for now. The economy grew by 0.1% in November, with spending in pubs and bars boosted by the football. That's the World Cup. So maybe we are avoiding that at the moment. And then moving on to some other stories making the rounds across the globe as well. Breaking news as Russia claims control of salt mine town Solidar. Russia says it has taken control of Ukrainian salt mine town Solidar after a month-long battle, calling it a crucial step. Crucial step for what? What? And to what end? Because I'm asking myself the question all the time. What do they want to achieve? Do they want to take over the whole of Russia? Is that what they intend doing? Occupy it? Is that what they intend doing? Well, let's see. Now, the Ukraine Defense Minister is saying that we are a de facto NATO member. Oleksiy Reznikov comments are set to provoke Russia, which frames the war as a battle with the West. Now, what do you think? The man has been charged with Ellie Edwards' murder in court. The 26-year-old beautician died in a shooting at a Merseyside pub on Christmas Eve. And then the Boxing Day The Boxing Day murder, nightclub murder as well. Cody Fisher, a third man, has been charged with the Boxing Day murder there as well. And a man, 21 years old, has also admitted throwing eggs at King Charles during looting walkabout. You remember that? Well. Those are some of the stories making the rounds. The man on the kill list of Italy's most powerful mafia. I'll be telling you about him as well. And then Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley, dies age 54. Tributes flood in for the US singer who was rock and roll legend Elvis Presley's only child. Well, she is passed on. Alright then, now moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds as well. In Nigeria, or from Nigeria, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo drops words of wisdom for Nigeria's next president. Who is he talking about there? I'll be telling you more about that. Apapa Customs facilitates now 28.2 billion naira non-oil exports records. That is 1 trillion naira revenue in 2022. Interesting. Well, I hope it's all accounted for though. Well. It is all Starr Radio UK. And updates coming from INEC. INEC extends deadline for PVC collection to January 29. So if you have not gone for your PVC, if you want to go vote, well, you have to get that before you can embark on that mission. So make sure you get your hands on it. And then I'll bring you that song from the Zongo Man. It says use the ballot box. Do you think that is the way forward for Nigeria now? Or we pass the place where we use ballot box? That the only way is okay. Now SDP speaks on alliance with Tinubu's APC for 2023 presidency. Interesting. People are looking at opportunities. Now Buhari renowned anti-corruption posture brought about judicial reforms. That's what Malami is saying. But how many people has the state been able to retrieve monies from who, have squandered state funds and corrupted? Now, troops killed over 50 terrorists in 3 weeks, and Tinubu will beat Atiku Obi in February pool. That is some information coming from there as well. I'll be bringing you more on that front as well. Nigerians and greatness are 5 and 6. Late Dora Akuni-Yili's daughter named Chief Medical Officer of Jersey City Medical Center. Then appeals court nullifies Borneo PDP reps candidate nomination and gives reasons for that. Some of the stories making the rounds there as well. Archie holds infodemic management review meeting to mitigate future pandemics. That's a good one there as well. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. 11,557 people arrested for traffic offenses in Kano. That's some of the stories making the rounds there. It is Starr Radio UK. And this one is an interesting one. Certificates. UK recognition agency scores WAEC high over verification portal. Well, it is a good one for people who have got all those certificates there. All right then. So Starr Radio UK. The Attorney General of Nigeria has urged police to arrest Empress Njama's ex-fiancé for leaking her nudes, and I believe that definitely that has to be done. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So still, one other story. Release Nnamdi Kanu to restore peace in the southeast. Ugochineri Imo tells the federal government. But I remember the president saying that, you know what, we'll wait for the case to go to the courts, and whatever the outcome is, I will adhere to that. When he was being called upon to give a presidential pardon to Nnamdi Kanu. Now that the courts have ruled as well, they are all sitting there aloof, as if the court has not ruled anything. I have not come up with any ruling or a sort. But what do you think about all that happening in Nigeria? So something happened to Nnamdi Kanu. What do you think is going to happen? Ooh, I don't want to think about that. Okay, moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds as well in other parts of the world. Still on Africa. Somali president urges people to flush out Al-Shabaab bed bags. Okay. And DR Congo accuses Rwanda of using refugees as leverage. I brought you that story yesterday as well. And the U.S. offers $10 million for mastermind of 2019 Kenya hotel siege. Well, we'll be bringing you more details about that. All right then, and then moving on straight to Ghana as well. Now, yesterday I did talk about a story where the Education Ministry has dismissed 8 students of China SHS China SHS for actually insulting the president and using foul language against the president. However, the president has intervened in their dismissal and is calling for another form of punishment instead of throwing them out of their formal education there. Well, what do you think about that? That's quite an interesting one, isn't it? But we'll be talking more about that in a moment. Well, the president has given a presidential pardon, hasn't he? Well. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay. Now, still moving on to some other stories making the rounds in Ghana as well. Now, fake cop, 3 others allegedly hijacked and still tanker transporting 54,000 liters of petrol. It's one of the stories making the rounds there as well. Base pay up by 30% for public workers. And also, Hawa Kumsin acts as caretaker, a Greek minister. Well, maybe some people who are not good at interviews because they panic or sort of, but when it comes to doing the work, they are able to do it effectively. Maybe that's the story of Hawa Kumsin. She didn't do well when she was being interviewed as a fisheries minister. However, maybe this time around she's going to be doing very, very well. What about that? So coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Debt swap, absolute failure in managing our economy. The former president and flag bearer, of Ghana. I don't want to say the flag bearer because they've not gone for their local elections, or what I call the party elections for the presidential bid yet. So the former president John Dramani Mahama has taken a swat at government as well. Okay, so this and a lot more going to be coming your way, but now let's enjoy this music and I'll bring you everything that you gotta know or other stories that you need to know. Stay tuned and don't you go away. This is from Sami Oposo and it says gratitude, and that's what we show to God for today, bringing us or taking us through the first full week of the year 2023. Stay tuned.
Good God. Now look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor.
That is the late Sami Oposo.
My spirit. I have some gratitude in my spirit. Ask your neighbor, do you have some of it? Because I'm about to unleash my gratitude. Now, you know what? Once you feel it, don't allow your neighbor to stop you. Once you feel it going, come on.
Online, on mobile, and soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Come on! One more! Everybody say, I thank you. I thank you. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I thank you. And I thank you. Oh Lord. In looking at my life, I see how much you have done. to mention. Are you ready? Come on. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you for loving me.
And all the things you have. Come on.
Lord, I thank you.
Oh, Lord.
Lord, I praise you.
Come on.
The coolest way to start your weekend. The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
You are listening to Starr Radio UK.
Come on. Thank you for me. Scream!
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.worldlamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@worldlamp@gmail.com. World Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 20 minutes past the top of the hour, running behind schedule. But I promise you one thing for sure, we're going to make sure we deliver on all the promises that we have for you. You can see me? Yes, now you can see me. All right then, so now let's go to updates from Nigeria coming at a later time. Yeah. All right then, so the first story says that former President Olusegun Obasanjo has dropped words of wisdom for Nigeria's next president. Nigerians have been urged to ensure they vote for a president that has a good understanding of the nation's economy. So who do you reckon has got good understanding of the nation's economy? The former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, on Thursday, January 12, outlined some of the key issues that must be addressed by the next president of the country. Now, information coming through says that a virtual meeting organized by the Africa Leadership Group, key challenges facing the country must be tackled once the next president is sworn in on May 29. Now, the story says, he added that challenges like terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping across states of the nation must be brought to an end by the next president. And that was the mantra on which President Buhari was voted into power. But has he achieved anything much about it? What do you think? Maybe he has, and depending on where I'm sitting, I cannot appreciate that. But if you know, tell us more about that. Obasanjo noted that Nigeria as a country must strive to move beyond think tank to do tank in order to achieve this. So think that no, let's go to do tanks. Now in his words, he said, I hope the man who will be the next president will be the type of leader who will understand the economy, and that's very important. He goes on further to say, if he understands the economy, there are many he must do, including doing something on fuel subsidy. Also, the country's debt is not too good. Something has to be done about it. The amount of petroleum products being stolen in the country is mind-boggling. The level of corruption in other areas too is mind-boggling. Also, banditry, kidnapping has become the order of the day. So who do you think has got that experience, that exposure to what, and knows exactly what is going on, and has got the guts to be able to deal with it? If you're listening to us from Nigeria or in the diaspora, wherever you're listening to us from, pertaining to Nigeria, do you think we've got any one of them, the front runners, do you think we've got any one of them to do that for us? Well. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, when it comes to the election, INEC has extended the PVC collection to January 29, and it says the Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the time frame for collection of the permanent voters card nationwide to the 29th of January 2023. The National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, who disclosed this in a statement, said the decision to extend the collection of the PVC was made during the Commission's regular meeting held on Thursday in Abuja. He said the commission deliberated on a number of issues, including the ongoing collection of permanent voters' cards, that's a PVC nationwide. Okoye, who said the commission was encouraged by the turnout of registered voters and the surge in the number of collected PVCs across the country. He revealed that framework for the exercise has been extended nationwide. The INEC commissioner said the commission was encouraged by the turnout of registered voters and the surge in number of collected PVC across the country, adding that in some of the states as many as 100,000 PVCs were collected in the last 5 days since the devolution to ward level started on Friday, the 6th of January 2023. He said the commission is determined to ensure that registered voters have ample opportunity to collect their PVCs ahead of the forthcoming election. For this reason, the time frame for collection of the PVC is extended by 8 days instead of ending on Sunday, the 22nd of January. Okay, so you have the number of days more. So please, today is the 13th. So you have got what? 16 days more. Go and make sure you get your hands on your PVC so that you can vote if you want to vote. All right? Okay. Zongo Man says, use the ballot box to show them or give them bloody nose. So maybe we could use that. But have we passed that? The SDP has spoken of an alliance with the APC. The Social Democratic Party has declared that there is no truth in certain reports claiming the party is forming an alliance with the All Progressive Congress for the 2023 general election. The SDP National Public City Secretary Rufus Ayenigba made a clarification at a news conference in Abuja on Thursday. He added that the person behind the false claim is one Alpha Mohammed, who is former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the SDP but has since defected to the APC. Well, because of his defection, he decided that, well, he wants to bring them along or carry them along. He said that Mohammed was relieved of his position as the Deputy Publicity Secretary for the party in November 2018 before he was suspended from the party in March 2019 by the National Working Committee. So how come he is saying something of the sort? Because we know that he is not part of it. According to Yenigba, currently as we speak, Mohammed is a member of the APC and even a strong member of one of the support groups that the party called the Southwest Agenda for Asiwaju. Now, there is no way a man who is playing such a role in APC could be said to be an official of the SDP. So be careful about fake news there when it's getting to the election time. Now, Buhari renowned anti-corruption posture brought about judicial reforms. What reforms? And how has that impacted Nigeria lately? Or how is it going to? Okay, so let's say that is put it, the reforms have taken place, but maybe the impact has not taken place yet. Maybe we'll watch it closely. The Attorney General of the Federation of the Minister and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, says President Muhammadu Buhari and a renowned anti-corruption posture and policies unsurprisingly brought to the front burner issues of judicial reforms and independence. Now, Malami made the disclosure in Abuja during the 17th edition of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration's scorecard series on Thursday. He said that the adherence to the tenets of the rule of law, deepening democratic governance practices and strengthening institutional reforms across law enforcement and anti-corruption agencies were part of the cardinal policies at the core of the agenda of Buhari's administration. Now, justice sector transcends the Ministry of Justice or the Office of the Attorney General. The policies and activities in the justice sector are driven by different stakeholders who play assigned roles ranging from the enactment of laws and the interpretation of laws to the implementation and or enforcement of laws, with the ultimate aim of ensuring access to justice. But the fact that the justice is mandatory requirement of an orderly society means that justice permeates every sector of society and governance. But the question is, does justice actually or really permeates in every facet of society or sector of society? If it does, how come that Nnamdi Kanu is still behind bars? And let me take the opportunity to say good morning to Bishop Adeshina. I hope you are doing very, very well, my Bishop. Have a wonderful day there as well. Okay then. Now, so let's move on to one other story making the rounds. Tinubu will beat Atiku and Obi. Well, it looks like the polls, some are calling it now. But what do you think? Maybe they are doing well. Maybe people in the southeast and the southwest will be voting for them like no man's business. Who knows? Who knows? The House of Representative member for Somalia, Takai, Federal Constituency of Kano, Samsudin Dambazu, has said the All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will beat other candidates to win the February 25 presidential election from all indications. What are the indications that he is talking about there? But let me say, okay, Bishop Adesina has said they are giving themselves scorecards. My bishop, you know that, yeah. They are the student, and the same time they are the examiners as well. Yes, you know, yeah, that's what they do. Well, he says, Asiwaju Tinubu, okay, the lawmaker said, this while addressing National Assembly correspondent yesterday in Abuja. Now, Dambazu, yeah, who is the son of the retired former Chief of Army Staff Abdulrahman Dambazu, said the former Lagos State governor has the magic needed to turn the country around. Asiwaju Tinubu has the experience to take the country out of the current doldrums. He is the man that has the experience to take care of all these issues affecting Nigerians. He will put the country together and douse tensions. Well, but has he made any statement pertaining to those who think they are being marginalized, ill-treated, think that they need to secessionists? I mean, has he made any statement pertaining to that at all, or is holding his cards close to his chest? What do you think? Well, this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Release Nnamdi Kanu to restore peace in Southeast. Chinyere Imo tells the federal government. Now, the spokesman of the coalition of the United Political Parties, that is CUPP, Comrade Ikenga Iguchinero Imo, has called on the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, release the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, from the DSS detention. Now, speaking at the press conference held in his country home in Mugekegu community, Akokwa Idiato North Local Government Area of Imo State, Ugochinero Imo said the appeal is coming after his attention has been drawn to the fact that Kanu needs special medical care with the DSS, which the DSS cannot avail him while in their custody. Now, Ugochinere Imo further disclosed that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers fear the worst might happen if he remained in DSS custody, a development which the rights activists fears might cause more harm and deepen the security threats within the Southeast. But what do you think? He said, according to him, President Muhammadu Buhari needs to release Kanu urgently for justice, equity, and fairness to the people of the Southeast, adding that it will, to a large extent, restore peace and address the deteriorating security challenges within the region ahead of the general elections. But are they going to do it, or are they going to wait for the last minute and then maybe Bola Tinubu will come out and say, yes, I've spoken to the president, so we are releasing, and that will, facilitate some more support for him in the Southeast? Do you think that maybe that is what the card that they're trying to play there? You know what? There have been a few times that I sat on this platform and I've made statements like that, and in the next moment something of the sort happens. But what do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's take a quick break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the show. Okay, let me say good morning to Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man, who is enjoying the show. But yes, I catch your drift. I catch your drift. So we'll see to that. My regards to Mrs. Evelyn Tabiri and my girls. Yes, I hope every one of you is doing good there. All right then. So Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. So that brings us to the end of the updates from Nigeria. And as I did say earlier on, I'm going to be bringing you that tune from the Zongo man himself. But that will be after this commercial break. The Zongo man says what? Use the ballot box to give them a bloody nose. Stay tuned and don't you go away. It is Star Radio UK. This is the ballot box. Will do it for Nigerians. Stay tuned.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Okay, 11:35 the time. Let's now enjoy this too from the Zongo man himself. He says, use the ballot box to give them a bloody nose. Can Nigerians do so? Yes, let's see. Maybe they would, maybe they can't. Let's see what happens on that front. Enjoy it and I'll be with you in a moment.
ballot box. Use the ballot box.
Okay, yes, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 20 minutes to the top of the hour. As I did say, exactly at 12 o'clock, I'll be opening the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions, and then we'll move on from there and then look at some of the other stories as well. But you can add your voice, you can call it, you can Skype others and whatever you want to do. But at 12:30, we'll be taking you to Kent, where our money man is for the money hour. Yes, this time around, when after the budgets and everything, I mean, there are a lot of things that is going on, but there are support for you as well. There'll be more on that front, and we'll make sure that we bring you any other updates from there. If yes, so make sure that are still logged on Star Radio UK. But for now, we have to move on to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world, and this time around still on the African continent, and we will be looking at what is happening there as well. Okay, so stay tuned, and don't you even think of going away. All right then. Well, so Somali's president is urging people to flush out Al-Shabaab bed bugs. Yeah, they call it bed bugs. Well, yes. Somali's president Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has called Thursday on ordinary people to help flush out members of the Al-Shabaab jihadist group he described as the bed bugs. Mohammed was addressing large crowds at a government-organized rally against the Al-Qaeda-linked militants held at a stadium in the capital, Mogadishu, under tight security. Now, he says, I'm calling to you, the people of Mogadishu, the Kharijites, that's renegades, okay, amongst you. So flush them out. They are in your houses. They are your neighbors, in the cars that pass you by, he said. Now, I want you to commit today to flashing them out. They are like bed bugs under our clothes, he added, as demonstrated with flags and placards with anti-Al-Shabaab messages. But the question is, how can the people get the protection that they need? Because if somebody should grasp one of them, do they get protection? Or somebody in the security agencies, or somebody is going to say, like, it was this person who did that, and then the next moment there will be a target as well. We've seen this in most places. But how secure is the security of Somalia for people to have confidence in them that, look, if I report somebody of this sort, then I will be protected? How secure is the security agencies? Okay, well, it is all coming away from Star Radio UK. He said he went on further to say, I want us to commit today to flashing them out. They are like bed bugs under our clothes. He added, as demonstrated with flags and placards with anti-Al-Shabaab messages. Now, Al-Shabaab has been waging a bloody insurgency against the frail, internationally backed central government for 15 years, carrying out attacks both in Somalia and neighboring countries, which send troops to help in the fight against the militants. The people are tired of massacres, killing, and all kinds of misdeeds, and they are now saying to Al-Shabaab, enough is enough, Mahmoud said. All right then. Now let's move on to some other stories as well, coming from Africa as well. Al-Qaeda claimed death of 14 soldiers in central Mali. Now, insecurity. Now, at least 14 Malian soldiers were killed and 11 injured on Tuesday in clashes with the jihadists in the center of the country. Now, according to an army report on Thursday, an attack claimed by Al-Qaeda with different figures. The previous report, communicated by officers of the army and the gendarme on condition of anonymity, reported the day before at least 12 Malian soldiers were killed during these fights, which took place between Mopti and Shegu after several attacks carried out against the army with homemade bombs. The enemy side, the Malian army, claims to have neutralized 31 terrorists in a statement sent to us. Now, the jihadis of the support group for Islam and Muslim, GCIM, JNIM in Arabic, affiliated with Al Qaeda, for their part claim responsibility for a double ambush, having targeted Malian soldiers and mercenaries from the Wagner group in the region of Mopti. In a press release authenticated by some other an American NGO site specialized in the follow-up of radical groups consulted as well. Okay, so this is what is happening there. So insecurity. Now they're talking about this group from Russia. That is that maybe they are the panacea to the insecurity issues going on in the Sahel region. Do you think that is what it's going to do for them? Okay. Now, when it comes to Benin, yes, an election took place. That is a college parliamentary election took place there. Well, the presidential camp wins majority in parliament, but we know that the opposition is crying foul. Now, President Patrice Talon's camp won the majority of seats in parliament, the country's constitutional court said on Thursday, after a vote marking the return of the opposition after a 4-year absence. Now, Sunday's election, which took place peacefully, served as a key test for the small West African country chaired since 2016 by Patrice Talon. This wealthy businessman has promoted the economic development of Benin, but his detractors accuse him of having set back democracy. His main opponents have been either imprisoned or forced into exile. This is the first time that the opposition has taken part in the election since Mr. Talon came to power. The presidential parties, the Republican Bloc, and the Progressive Union for Renewal won 81 of the 109 seats in parliament, said Razaki Amuda Yusufu, president of the Constitutional Court. The main opposition party, the Democrats, for its part, obtained 28 deputies at the end of the election, which took place on Sunday with a participation rate of 37.79%. I mean, falls below. I don't know if people go for elections and we have a number of people like that, less than 50%, whether it should be allowed or should be, agreed on. I think that it should be at least 50% of the people. But if it's not mandatory, people are thinking that, well, we've been there several times. What have we gained out of it? Then, of course. Now, only political parties obtaining more than 10% of the votes can obtain seats in parliament, according to a proportional system. So, well, the opposition will have a stake there. But what do you think? And again, interestingly, this President Talon is a businessman, okay, who has sort of, as the information is saying, turned the tide of the economy of the country for good. So, I've been asking that question. Now, assuming, let's take President Park in South Korea. Let's take the late what do you call him, Iraqi leader. Let's take the former Libyan leader, Muammar al-Gaddafi, and a few of them. Now, you know that the moment you are embarking on a change, something that will benefit most of the country, then you have the opposition, okay, throwing more this in what do you call it? Challenges or insults or impediments your way so that you'll not be able to achieve that. But my question has been all the time that, do you think that maybe wielding a strong hand, now if your vision is a vision of the country, and that is why I always call for a national agenda. So this is the national agenda. This is what we want to do. We want to build how many streets or how many bridges in the country, maybe 10 bridges in the next 5 years, 10 motorways and 10 hospitals, blah, 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 blah. We have the means to do that. And you think that the opposition are making noise, then you need to find a way to shush them so that you can get on that agenda. But it looks like anytime so let's take an example. Back in the day when we had president, the first president of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, who of blessed memory as well, we were not born at that time, we were nowhere near. Now he can also attest to the fact that he had a vision for the country. Now it might happen that the opposition did not agree with that vision that he had. Okay, we're on other side, and therefore we're throwing impediments his way. But it happened that for him to carry that agenda through, for Ghanaians now to say that our first motorway, we had Akosomo Dam, we had the Tema enclave where factories and stuff like that were built and stuff like that. Lots of it, the developmental agenda. To have that coming into being, he had to some way somehow shush them. So if somebody comes to power and it reckons that because of the behavior of these people trying to oppose everything that I'm doing, I need to shoot them or silence them, let them maybe bar them for some time being, and get at the end set. And then you can say, okay, now like President Cholon has done, bring them back on board. What do you think? Somebody said that is not democracy. So democracy should give you the chance for you to say whatever you want to say, throw the spanner in the web of the president whilst he's trying to weave the whole thing nicely and within that is okay. What do you think? I would love to know what you really think. Let's take an example of what is happening in Nigeria at the moment. So let's say the Yoruba nation, the Yoruba people are given the time, they go for a referendum, the winner, they said that majority of people want to leave the country, and they have said, okay, get on the horse, your high horses, and just go away. Okay, now if the leader, the one who's going to lead them, think that, look, this is agenda, this is the developmental agenda that I have for my people, and this is how I'm going to deal with security so that everybody will be at peace and be able to go about their duties and blah blah blah. But you have dissenting voices coming through saying that, oh no, and that. Then what do you do? Do you just allow them to come in and just throw spanner in your web, and then maybe after some years, some people say that, well, the whole program, the whole idea of breaking away was a failure? Do you want that to be, to be the story, or you will want to say that no, we got on with it, silent that one. I didn't say kill them, no, silent them. And then you get on with it, the agenda, so that majority of the people or most of the people will benefit from that agenda of that developmental project that you want to embark on. But what do you think about that? I don't know. I always have something mind-boggling about that, because I think that if you really believe that this is something that you need to do, you have to do everything possible to get that agenda come into being. Well, the US has offered 10 million MN, I don't know what that is, for masterminding a 2019 Kenya hotel siege. $10 million. The United States announced on Thursday it was offering a reward of up to $10 million for a man described as the terror mastermind of a bloody hotel attack in Kenya 4 years ago. So if you know it and you know him, I mean, 10 million, you know. It said it is seeking the information on Mahmoud Abdi Aden, describing him as a leader of the Somalia-based Al-Shabaab jihadist group that has carried out several deadly attacks in neighboring Kenya. The Al-Qaeda affiliated group claimed responsibility for January 15, 2019 siege on the upmarket Dusit D2 hotel compound in Kenya capital Nairobi that lasted about almost 20 hours. At least 21 people left. 21 people lost their lives, including a U.S. citizen, and many more were injured. Kenya said at the time that that all the assailants had been eliminated. Mahmoud Abdi Aden, an Al-Shabaab leader, was part of the cell at the plan of the Dusit D2 hotel attack. The U.S. ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, told reporters in Nairobi. Now, she said the U.S. was offering a reward of up to $10 million for information leading to the arrest of Aden, described by the embassy as a Kenyan national, and others accused of involving in the hotel siege. The head of Kenyan Directorate of Criminal Investigation, Amin Mohammed Ibrahim, described Aden as the terror mastermind behind the carnage. Well, so 10 million being offered. If you have any information, share it, and you can have. But again, like I did say earlier on, what protection will this individual get? Is somebody going to now go back and go and say, you know what, it was this person who grasped you, and what happens to them? Well, this is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, 11:55. We're going to take a break, and once we come back, we'll be going to Ghana as well to look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Okay, my producer has given me one other story that I need to bring around about, so please just stay tuned, don't you go away. And this time round, from Egypt, Egyptian motorists drove through flooded streets on Thursday as heavy rain hit areas of Alexandria city early in the morning. The city sewage company deployed pumping vehicles, and workers were opening drains across the city in an attempt to lower the water levels. Now, more rain is expected in the coming days, with the weather due to clear up next Tuesday. The residents have complained about the disruption the weather has caused, which included school closures. Indeed, the northern African nation was lashed by a rainstorm last week. Now, every year, the port city of Alexandria sinks by 3 millimeters, partly weakened by the Nile dams upstream that prevent soil consolidation. The sea rising by 1 meter in 20.50 is a UN climate panel worst case scenario. The waters will flood Alexandria as well as a third of the fertile land of the Nile Delta. Well. So what do we do to stop that? Or what do we do to help combat that? It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a break, and once we come back, we continue with the program. Stay tuned. Don't you go away.
Make that move now this festive season to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging the hole of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019,
forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Star Radio.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Welcome back to the program, Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, if you want to join in the conversation, feel free to do so. 3 minutes past 12 the time, 0208-133-2257 or 58. The number 0208-133-2257 or 58. Now, those of you in the US, Canada, or the Caribbean area, it is 001-718-303-2737. 001-718-303-2737. Now, if you want to text or WhatsApp us, yes, you can do so. It's 075-3966-1744. 075-3966-1744. Also, you can call us. You can give us a WhatsApp call and I'll be able to pick it up as well. What about that? And then you can tweet at us. Our Twitter handle is Star Radio UK and email address is info@starradiouk.com. Also, you can Skype at us. Our Skype ID is Star Radio UK 1. All right then.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Okay, welcome back to the program Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, moving on at 4 minutes past the top of the hour, the morning show. Now, moving on straight to Ghana as well to look at some of the stories making the rounds there. Now, yesterday I did talk about the fact that some 8 students in China had been dismissed from their schools, and virtually, rather, was saying that if the Ghana Education Service, the Education Ministry, actually dismissed them, then what is going to happen is that they can only go to a private institution for the education. But if you look at where their school is, China, that's the first time of me hearing about that China as some maybe community or wherever in the northern part of the country. So how many private schools are there for them? Now, how much can their parents even afford to pay for their fees if they were supposed to now go to a private institution? But then, after that statement from the because an inquiry was set up, and then it came out with that finding that, well, the kids have been, abusive of the president, or insulting, whichever you want to put it, and therefore did not want them to be still in the school and had to dismiss them as a form of punishment. However, President Akufo-Addo has intervened in the dismissal of the 8 female students of the China Senior High School. A statement from the Education Ministry on Friday revealed that the president made the move after his attention was drawn to it. Accordingly, the Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, has directed Ghana Education Service to revise its decision, the statement said. On Thursday, the GS dismissed the 8 students in the Upper East region for allegedly insulting President Akufo-Addo. Now, prior to that dismissal, the students had been on suspension. The GS says its investigation into the incident confirmed that the students used unsavory language against the president in a viral video. It does describe the actions of the students as very undesirable and contrary to the acceptable standards of the conduct generally required of any student in Ghana's educational system. However, let me bring you some other story here, and then you tell me what you really think. What you really think. Now, it's not an offense to insult the president. A renowned lawyer, Ace Anan Ankuma, has said. Now, for a number of times in the history of Ghana, some individuals have been subject of arrest or some form of disciplinary action for insulting the president of the republic. Now, one of such instance occurred in September 2017 when a popular serial caller of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Frank Kweku Appiah alias Appiah Stadium, was arrested for tagging president as a weed smoker. His arrest generated a public debate where several arguments and positions were shared for and against his arrest by the police. Now, private legal practitioner Ace Anan Ankuma was one of the people who argued in defense of Appiah Stadium. Ace Ankuma, while describing the statement by the political activist as wrong, emphasized that Appiah Stadium did not commit any offense by insulting the president. Now, his argument, shared in a Facebook post, was backed by portions of the 1992 Constitution, which he said does not prescribe such actions as offensive. Now, lawyer Ace Ankuma, that's the detail of it. He explained that such acts as insulting president are wrong but cannot be described as an offense demanding action by law enforcement authorities. This time around, the law enforcement authorities have not come in there. They've not go to arrest the kids. Okay, he's alleged to have accused President Akufo-Addo of being a weed smoker. Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command on Tuesday arrested Appiah Stadium. That was then, in handcuffs, and subsequently transported him to the Criminal Investigation Department headquarters in Accra for further interrogation. His arrest led to a huge debate as a section of the public, particularly the NEC, argued that it was unlawful. Now, moving on. on his Facebook page, Ezankuma stress wrote, "What is wrong? What is wrong? Apia Stadium is wrong but has committed no offense. There should have been no arrest and no handcuffing. You can invite him for a discussion on the possible implication of his action on public order. Even then, he's not bound to honor the invitation. Leave the man to his own devices." Referring to an article from 2010. Ezankuma noted that life is interesting. Those who insulted me for this position have become converts, disciples, and apostles, and are now speaking like my clones are parrots. Now, referring to the barrage of attacks he received for espousing similar points in defense of a perceived MPP sympathizer who allegedly insulted late President Atta Mills. So, in the said article, Ezankuma stated firmly that insulting President per the Criminal Code of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana cannot be considered an offense. He has also suggested that before 2001, there was an offense called insulting the president. But as part of the 2001 repeal of the criminal libel regime, that section of the Criminal and Other Offences Act were repealed. Now, until 2001, it was an offense to insult the president. Section 183A of the Criminal Offences Act provides that if a person who intends to bring president into hatred, ridicule, or contempt publishes any defamatory or insulting matter about the president, that person could be liable to a fine and or imprisonment. But come 2001, the MPP government repealed this section together with the repeal of the then criminal libel laws. Now, technically, insulting the president is no longer an offense under our laws. Now, meanwhile, insulting a chief remains an offense which should never be criminalized, he stated. This is the highest office of the land occupied by a man voted by Ghanaians. Now, he goes on for that to say, and we can't have any Tom, Dick, and Harry get up in a radio station and describe him as such in such unpalatable language, he said passionately. But the question there is, looking at that particular case and looking at what happened in this kids, the 8 students case. Now, do we give with the action that they took, now that I know the president has appealed, has intervened, and that is why the kids are going to go back to school. But I don't know even how they are going to be treated on that front. Okay, well, so a lot more going to be coming your way from there, but it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. We're going to take a break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the rest of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. Stay tuned, and don't you go away.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntunsi, 20 minutes drive from Achimatamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business. The show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy. Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let me say good afternoon to Pastor Alex Kwame J. He was also listening and getting in touch with me. And man of God, God richly bless you and thank you for yesterday as well. Okay, now let's crack on. Let's come to the final segment of the morning show. That means taking you to other parts of the world. But what do you think about that? The president's intervention and the action that they took in Ghana? Because again, we don't just want to punish children or punish people for punishing sake. We want them reformed. You get it? So throwing them out. Somebody will say, well, I'm trying to set a precedent so that others will not follow suit. So someone will call it that it's a good action that they took. So all other students will think, whoops, if we do anything of the sort, we'll find ourselves wanting. But I mean, I remember back in the day when we were in the boarding house, and then when it happens that maybe you are late or you fail to do something, and then they take you to, that's a massive place, and then they stand you in front of some bushy area, and then that's your punishment. They tell you that the senior will take a stone, or the master will take a stone and just throw it there, and they said that, well, so from this point to that point you have to clear the whole bush. And then you have to wait. At times, there have been times where you will not go for lectures, you will not go for classes, and then you have to, whilst others are studying, you have to do that. Let me take the opportunity to say good afternoon to Lion Rexford. He put me in some trouble. At the time I was the class prefect at the time, and he misbehaved. I'm not going to say what he did exactly. That was at Nifa Secondary School, and I was then the class prefect, and I didn't want to, because if I had said exactly what he did, I can tell you for sure that he would have been sacked straight. But I had to say that I didn't see what exactly went on, and then I was punished for that. I remember him trying to hide to come and help me to clear that bush there. Yeah. So that made me. I mean, I didn't commit that offense, though. That's what I'm saying there. But there were a punishment that can be given to you, and then by the time you look at the blisters in your palm, next time you think, if I'm going to say anything of the sort or do anything of the sort, I have to think twice before I do it. Okay, but this is a case where just throwing them out of the school. But for the intervention of the president, what would have happened? What do you think about all that? And again, it's not a crime per se, but it's only that the parents who might not have the means to maybe take the whole thing to court and say that, but, you know, in our part of the world, what happens there? But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We've got about 10 minutes more to run the program up. Now, Russia has claimed control of salt mine town or Soledar. The story says Russia says it has taken control of Ukrainian salt mine town Soledar after a months-long battle. It's calling it an important step for its offensive. Now, the victory would allow Russian troops to cut off Ukrainian supply routes in the nearby larger city of Bakhmut, the defense ministry has said. The Ukrainian officials said the fight for Soledar was still going on and accused Russia of information noise. The fight around Soledar has been some of the bloodiest of the war. Now, regional governor Pavlo Kirilenko said on Thursday that 559 civilians, including 50 children, remained in the town and could not be moved out. Now, Soledar's significance for the Russian military is disputed by military analysts because it is relatively a small size. But seizing Soledar will likely be hailed as a victory in Moscow after months of failures and setbacks in Russia's 10-month war. The US-based think tank Institute for the Study of War said hours earlier that it was likely that Russian forces had captured Soledar, but did not believe they would then be able to go on to encircle Bakhmut. Now, we know that the Western countries are also doing their best to supply Ukraine with all the necessary arms that they need for this war. But a Ukrainian defense minister have made a statement, and that, I bet, is going to infuriate or anger Russia the more. He said that we are a de facto member of NATO alliance. And it's because of this NATO that in the first place, Russia decided that, well, they are going to take control or silence Ukraine or whatever thing that their agenda is on this special military exercise or operation, whichever they Putin has termed it. Now, Ukraine has become a de facto member of the NATO alliance, the Ukrainian defense minister says, as Western countries once concerned that military assistance could be seen as an escalation by Russia changed their thinking approach. In an interview, Oleksiy Reznikov said he was sure Ukraine will receive long-sought weapons, including tanks and fighter jets, as both Ukraine and Russia seem to be preparing for new offensive in the spring. Now, this concern about the next level of escalation for me is some kind of protocol, Mr. Reznikov said. Now, Ukraine as a country and the armed forces of Ukraine became a member of NATO de facto, not de jure, but that is by law, because we have weaponry and the understanding of how to use it. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin has framed his invasion of Ukraine as an existential battle against Western countries that wants to weaken Russia. Now, Russian figures have argued that they are fighting NATO in Ukraine, as the West has supplied the country with weapons in what they call a war of aggression. Well, Ukraine for years has sought to join the military alliance between US, Canada, and 28 European countries, something President Vladimir Putin has described as a security threat for Russia. But well, where have we gotten to? And where do we hope that it will all end? And how many lives are we expecting to be lost pertaining to this action that is taking place there? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, here in the UK, Sunak is concerned. The Prime Minister seemed to be concerned about impact of gender reforms. Now, Rishi Sunak has said he is concerned about the potential impact of Scotland's new gender reforms on the areas on other areas of the UK. The Prime Minister said the government was taking advice on the implications of the reforms as is completely standard practice. But he did not say whether Westminster would seek to block the legislation. Scotland is the first country in the UK to approve a self-identification system for people who want to change gender. The controversial reforms, which are expected to come into force later this year, lower the age that people can apply for a gender recognition certificate from 18 to 16. They also remove the need for a medical diagnosis of gender dysphoria, with applicants only needing to have lived as their acquired gender for 3 months rather than 2 years or 6 months if they are aged between 16 or 17. The Scottish government believes the existing process can be intrusive and distressing and put out people of applying for a GRC. Now, there have been a case, or there have been cases where people have, there was that case, I've forgotten the name of the individual who was, trying to even sue, the facility that did his transgender, whatever, what injected him with the hormones and everything to change him from, is it from a male to a female, or whichever, if it's not a male to a female, be a female to a male, whichever it is. And was saying that if they had counseled him well, he wouldn't have embarked on it, and was regretting that action that he took. So I don't know whether I will agree with the Scottish Parliament for, embarking on this journey, because, you know, when your hormones are all over the place, one of my friends would say, in my last workplace, would say that testosterone are all over the place, and your head is not thinking straight, and you seem just to be looking and behaving anyway, anyhow. Do you think that you are in a right place to make a good decision of the sort? Now, there are a minority of people, a few of us, who at that particular age were so wise, okay, and could make very, very good informed decisions. But it's not across the board. It's not across board at all. It's not across board. But what do you think about all that? It's coming your way from Starr Radio, okay? Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, Rishi Sunak met the Scottish leader, Nicola Sturgeon, yesterday as well. Apparently, it was a cordial exchange there. So, we hope to see what is going to happen there. Just running up the program. Girls killer jailed in oldest double jeopardy case. Now, Dennis McGrory was initially cleared of the murder of a teenager he raped and strangled in 1975, but it has now come up or catch up with him. And early part of this program today, we were bringing you the judge's sentence for Dennis McGregor. Now, he was tried on circumstantial evidence in 1976, but was cleared of murder. Now, McGrory was tried again after swabs from Miss Montgomery's body proved to be a 1 in a billion DNA match to him. The teenager's body was found by her father, Robert Montgomery, in their living room in Oxford Road on the 2nd of June 1975. She had suffered fatal stabs, wounds, and blunt force trauma to her face, and had been strangled with the flex of an iron. A sad one there. Okay. Well, it's a sad situation, but we know that he's been sent down. Sentencing McGrory to a minimum term of 25 years and 126 days. Mr. Justice Bryan told the killer, "I have no doubt whatsoever that you intended to kill her in your brutal attack on her. You put Jackie through a horrific, violent, and sustained ordeal in her own home, a place where she was entitled to feel safe." In the decades that followed, you must have thought you had gotten away with your hideous crimes. How any man could inflict such sexual violence on a 15-year-old child that had done them no harm, beggars believe. All right then, so that is it there. And a man has been charged with Ellie Edwards' murder in court. The 26-year-old beautician died in a shooting at Merseyside pub on Christmas Eve. And man fined for throwing eggs towards King Charles. A court hears Harry May thought the monarch's visit to the poor area of Luton was in bad taste. So is that the way to go about it? Well. And a man has also been arrested in Natalie McNally murder probe. Miss McNally, 32, was 15 weeks pregnant when she was stabbed on the 18th of December at a home in Lurgan. Well, those are some of the stories making the rounds there. Stay tuned, don't you go away. It is Starr Radio UK. Enjoy this music before I bring the curtains down for the end of the program. But wherever you are, I hope you're going to be having a lovely afternoon and a wonderful weekend as well. All right then. So until I come your way on Monday once again, I would say massive thank you very much. But enjoy this tune from Stephen Marley, and he calls it Babylon System. And when that song ends and you don't hear from me, then it's been me, your one and only Archie, saying have a top of the day. Bye bye.
One, two, three.
What you wanted us to be. We are what we are. That's the way it's going to be. If you don't know, you can't educate I for no equal opportunity. Talking about my freedom, talking about my freedom. People, freedom and liberty. Yeah, we've been treading on a wine press much too long. Rebel.
This is Starr Radio UK.
We've been taking. The Babylon system, yes, the vampire, falling empire, sucking the blood of the sufferers. Yeah, building church and universities. Oh yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Continually.
All around the world.
Yeah.